You are listening to the Martial Arts Lifestyle Podcast, where each week we have a conversation with everyday martial arts practitioners. From the first motivation to train, martial arts enriches our lives and becomes a lifestyle. Welcome to the individual stories of those martial artists living that lifestyle. You are listening to the abbreviated version. For those of you checking this out on YouTube, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. Full-length versions of this podcast can be subscribed to at our Patreon page, is www.patreon.com/malmag. Or individual full-length episodes can be purchased at our Gumroad page at malmag.gumroad.com. Before we begin this week's program, I would like to remind you to check out martialartslifestylemagazine.com to see articles on the martial arts. Click on the Store tab to find products for the practice of Southeast Asian martial arts, featuring Timmy B's brand sticks. Check out the Courses tab, currently featuring a course on the Dos Manos method of the Filipino martial arts. Also check out our Places to Train page, featuring top quality martial art academies from around the world. And of course, check out our events page for seminars and events coming up around the world. To see your school listed in our Places to Train page or your event on our events calendar, contact us at malmagonline@gmail.com. This week, I have a talk with Jaspreet Singh as we sit down after a day of training in the Inosanto instructor camp. We talk about how he got involved in martial arts, how his appearance as a Sikh Indian in the aftermath of 9/11 caused some very dangerous situations for him living in the South and made him take his martial arts training much more seriously. Taking up training at River City Warriors with podcast alumni Joe Heller, becoming an instructor in the martial arts, and much more. Sit back and enjoy. Welcome to the Martial Arts Lifestyle Podcast, and today I'm sitting in Marina del Rey, just down the road from the Inosanto Academy, and we are, day number 3 of the instructor camp in August, and as usual, I love to draw a lot of my guests from that, and this gentleman is someone I've been asking for a long time, but he's got a little bit of a busy job, so it's all forgiven, and he's here, so we've had a chance to just kind of sit down and talk. This is my dear friend, Jaspreet Singh, and I want to say welcome to the show, and I've been very much looking forward to this conversation for a long time.
Thanks so much for having me, Tim.
Absolutely. I put him by this very serene environment, so he's going to be all chilled out now.
Yeah.
We're sitting here by the canals in Marina, like about a block away from the beach, and it's a great place to hang out. So tell me a little bit about how you got involved in martial art training.
Sure. So when I was a kid, I was really interested in martial arts because I was really young, living in downtown Atlanta. Used to watch these kung fu movies in Atlanta, what was Channel 69, UPN later is what it was called, and just grew up kind of watching these kung fu movies. Saw Return of the Dragon when I was a kid. I think I saw it maybe around 85 or 88, something like that. I don't know, I was like 5 or 8 years old. I saw it, I was just like, really loved seeing it, and that kind of inspired me to like martial arts. But my family was broke. My mom's a nurse. She moved to the U.S. to work as a nurse. My dad moved with her, moved the family over, and my dad was doing, he was doing like banking and government stuff in India. Wow. When he came to the U.S., none of those certifications or anything made any
Of
difference.
course, as usual.
So
you're what? Oh, okay. Yeah, you want to drive a taxi? Okay.
No, that's exactly what he did. He drove a taxi. He worked for the city for some time. He worked at a bank for some time. Eventually, he did his certification in water treatment facility.
Oh, wow.
And became like a supervisor there. And so we were living in downtown in not that great of an area. I was going to school. Sometimes I get bullied at school. Then a little later, we moved to South Georgia.
What do you mean? Does that never happens? A guy that looks a little different get bullied? Come on.
Yeah, well, I think it's something that maybe every kid faces, or
Sure.
a lot of kids face.
That's
but
right.
when you have a turban and a beard like me,
Yeah.
of course, when I was a little kid,
I'm picturing you now at 7 like that.
But, I had long hair
Right.
as a Sikh person. I don't, or Sikh, as a lot of people call it in the U.S., member of the Sikh religion. we don't cut our hair. We are meant to kind of accept our appearance as we are.
Oh, okay.
And so, at the time I had long hair and I tied it in a ball on the top of my head and I had a scarf over the top of the ball. And, I'd get bugged at school like, oh, what's under that? Is that a bomb? Like things like that. So I used to, people would always kind of say, little kids are mean.
Yes, they are. Yes, they can be.
So I, growing up, I was kind of like, again, interested in that, and I used to have like sometimes little altercations at school, but our family didn't have much money, so I didn't get a chance to really study it. When I got into college, I had a friend who was really influential on me, great guy in Atlanta. I was going to Emory University, and this guy...
Is that the one in Atlanta? Or?
In Atlanta,
okay.
yeah. Yeah, so CJ Strawn, he was studying Wing Chun under Sifu Francis,
Okay.
Eddie Camden, and Stephen Broman. He kind of influenced me. He was like, you should start studying some martial arts, and if that's the interest you have, I would suggest going and studying some Wing Chun first. And so I started going and training with Eddie Camden when I was like 18. So I'd drive all the way from Oxford of Emory, which is in Oxford, Georgia, a solid hour to an hour and a half to Roswell, Georgia.
Wow.
And I've been, freshman year, sophomore year.
Yeah.
So I started doing that, and I pursue Wing Chun, but then it was just too far. It started affecting my academics. That I was like kind of doing that. I was like, this is not.
Yeah. Well, that and coming from an immigrant family, actually, like that's not going to fly.
Yeah, exactly.
Even I think most families that are white and from America, that's not going to fly really. Like, okay,
No,
wait, what are we paying for here?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, so I was lucky enough. My mom working for Crawford Long Hospital. Crawford Long is part of Emory University.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Is a hospital associate because Emory has a huge med school. It's like one of the best in the Southeast. Her working there at that time, there was courtesy scholarship.
Oh, beautiful.
So
wow.
I got free tuition if I could get in. My brother got free tuition because he got in.
But you still had to maintain the grades, it doesn't matter.
But that's the thing, you had to maintain the grades. So as soon as things started to fall off a little bit, I was like, okay, I got to get more serious about my studies. I got to.
So we'll give you free, but we don't want you screwing around.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I was really at that time, I was interested in Wing Chun, but I also got some exposure to Inasano Kali, and Jiu-Jitsu was coming up a bit at the time too, because there was, the first UFCs were just happening, and things like that. So, and there was another friend, Stephen Abood, who kind of gave me my first private lesson in Jiu-Jitsu, and a little later, around like 2000, got me a private lesson with Elio Seneca. So I didn't really know what I was being exposed to in terms of the value. If I knew what I know now, I would have been like, Seneca, I'm going to do a lesson with you every week.
Isn't that the truth? With it's wasted on the youth, right?
It's wasted on the youth.
That's right.
But also, I was living on student loans.
Yeah.
And things. So I didn't have a huge amount of money to pull from, resources to pull from, to be studying martial arts, and so. My friend CJ was nice enough that he started training me in Kali, and we used to meet in the university gym or in parking garages or in the park sometimes. And we would do Inasano curriculum and also still practice some JKD and practice some of the curriculum. So that kind of was my first exposure, and I didn't really do a whole lot of Thai boxing at the time, and went off to law school. And when I came back to Atlanta from law school, I went to law school in Tallahassee, Florida.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Or Tallatrashy.
Man, you've been on so many places. So I know you from Oregon, right? It's like so you went to FSU.
I went to FSU.
Okay, so because I'm a Cane. I'm a University of Miami grad.
Okay, I didn't know you were a Hurricane. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
if you go to grad school, no one gives a shit about football when you're in grad school.
No, I lived on campus close enough.
God, that's like a
across
city,
the street
man.
From
that is
the law school.
Big old campus, yeah.
I could hear the games at the Seminole Stadium.
Oh, wow.
60,000 fans.
Yes.
I could hear them through the cinder block walls of my apartment.
I believe it.
Football is life down there.
Yeah, I believe it.
So, I was into it at the time. I enjoyed watching the games. I enjoyed kind of that.
Oh, it's good.
that
I
part of
love
things,
college football. It's just fun.
But I kind of fell out of it when,
Yeah.
once I left. But
Well, I kind of have too. Life has gotten what it is. I'm like, well, it's not that important for
Yeah.
me now.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
but it's it's fun to sit down with the games and I mean that
So-
is one huge place too. I had some
Oh,
friends
yeah.
there visited, and Miami's a private school.
yeah.
8,000 students, mostly commuters, so maybe 1,000 live on campus. So it's this small thing. And when I went up there and visited them, I was like, oh my God, this is like a city in and of itself. This is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, that's when students leave. It's
Yeah, it's
dead.
quiet. Yeah, I can
I mean,
imagine.
the population of the
Halves,
town,
right?
I think, actually halves.
Yeah.
Yeah. It goes from, like, what I don't, it's like 80,000 students to,
Yeah.
so it's like
Minus.
160,000 back to 80.
Exactly. Minus,
So when
right?
you're around in the summer, it's kind of nice because
Wow.
it's just locals then. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tallatrashy, as you
Kinda
say.
trashy, yeah. So I mean, I enjoyed.
It's
my
got its
time
charm,
there.
folks. Florida's got
It
its
does,
charm.
It does. It has a lot of charm. I mean,
Yeah.
we used to go to Alligator Point Beach, Pensacola,
Yeah.
all the stuff around there.
It's gorgeous.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
real beauty there. But there's also a lot of people who, again, treat someone like me.
Yeah.
There's a lot of racist people.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people
Yeah.
who are.
It's something about Florida that you don't realize, and I lived in Tampa for about 5 years before too. And when you're in the city, it's one thing, and then when you kind of drive out, and then you see like these giant Confederate flags, I go, "Oh, I forgot. This is the South.
Oh,
this
yeah.
is actually the South."
And that's Tampa.
Yeah.
And Tallahassee
Yes.
sits directly.
Yeah. So
in
it's
the
more flavored. Yeah,
Panhandle.
exactly.
We call it Southern Alabama.
It's very true. Yeah.
And I was born and raised in Georgia.
Yeah.
Like being from Georgia and living in Milledgeville, Georgia,
Right.
which was the capital of Atlanta during the Civil War.
Oh wow.
Right. So living there, you get exposed. Like our next door neighbors, my dad's friends. We'd go
Right.
to their houses and they'd have a Confederate flag on the wall.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is kind of, well, no, that guy's okay because he's my friend kind of environment.
Which
that,
you kind of want to go,
happens.
hey, folks, you're starting to get it. That's a
Yeah.
start.
Yep.
Now
Yep.
meet another.
Yeah.
And another.
Right.
And another, and see if that doesn't start playing with what you think the group is.
Expand
man.
your frame of reference
exactly.
just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Realize that a lot of us have shared values.
Yeah.
and
Put our
wanna
pants
try
on one
different
leg at a time.
That's
kind of
right.
have a lot of the same interests as far as basic.
Yeah.
There's
that's
the
true.
crazy uncle. Everyone's got the crazy uncle and the
Everyone
stupid
does.
cousin and the
Mhm.
whatever. These family stereotype characters are good comedy because they are reference to things we know. And guess
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
A lot of the cultures have them.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I mean, that's the thing. We stereotype and we have these kinds of things because we deal with these things
Right.
sometimes, right?
Right.
But that doesn't mean then you should just throw an entire group
Yes.
into the same bus.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's just not,
And
that's
make-
not reality.
Right.
You're, creating a fake reality if
Yeah.
that's the way
And
you're
it's
you're
lazy.
acting. It's lazy.
It's
Yeah,
lazy.
It really is lazy. So anyway, I, was in Tallahassee. I wasn't able to train there because law school is law school.
Oh yeah.
I had to be very focused. I did a little bit of, I kept up with some self-training.
Mhm.
I went to a couple of local classes and had some friends there who were interested more in jiu-jitsu at the time, so I'd do a bit with them. But that was also where I got kind of the need for martial arts more as well. I'd go out with friends to bars and hang out with people. And multiple times in Tallahassee, I had people try to attack me.
Wow.
People try to, calling me all sorts of names.
Now this was
Oh, it's
just like out
everything.
of nowhere. You're just in a place and they just kind of.
I'm gonna kill you, you Iraqi motherfucker.
Wow.
Right behind me as I'm dancing with someone.
Wow. And you're kind of
This
going,
guy's.
dude,
Yeah.
wrong place. Like thousands of miles difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
First of all, I'm from
of all-
Atlanta.
Yeah, exactly. First of all, I'm from Atlanta, of Indian heritage.
Right, exactly.
You're like really, really off.
Yeah,
base.
exactly, exactly. Well, and that's kind of the atypical thing, especially when that whole Iraq War happened, and in any war, there always becomes at least from the American perspective, the slang term that the soldiers are going to use for whoever the enemy is.
Yeah.
And they're using a character from Johnny Quest as their, and I'm thinking, do you understand that's not even an Iraqi guy?
Yeah.
Like, and he wasn't a bad guy either.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And I would, just hope that our military would be like, get a little smarter with it's when racial slurs, like, could you get a little smarter with it?
Oh, yeah.
At least.
I mean, I've been called Osama hundreds of times.
Jesus.
At that time, it was more like sand N-word.
Oh, yeah.
Things
course.
like that. I had beer bottles thrown at me off the back of a truck.
Wow.
I had to, a guy try to, pull a gun on me in a parking lot of a bar. When that happened, somebody called me Osama in the bar.
Uh-huh.
I have a friend who's a wrestler, jiu-jitsu guy, kind of no-nonsense philosophy professor.
Wow. Okay,
So
I like this.
He's a philosophy
I
professor,
like this
but
guy
he's
already.
also no nonsense. I mean, in another instance, some guy got into an altercation with me, and he rushed in, picked this guy up, and slammed him into the side of a car.
Wow.
And later, we saw that guy working at a restaurant,
Oh.
later that week.
Oh, wow.
And his arm was taped up. His arm was in a sling.
Wow.
And he was like, "You dented my girlfriend's car." And he was like, "Are you going to apologize to my friend?"
Wow.
Right? That's
nice.
literally, it's like, no, you did
Good
something
for
wrong,
him.
right?
Yeah, good for him.
So, but when this very similar
Yeah, it's
situation
like, what
was
have we
kind
learned,
of about
man?
to pop off at that bar, and then I see this guy running to his truck, opening it up and reaching under the seat.
Yeah.
I was like,
see ya.
we got to go.
Yeah.
And then I quit going out. I quit
Yeah.
just quit going to the bars to see games. I would go to friends' houses. It's like, but it's bad when you have to change your own behavior.
Of course.
And your own free enjoyment of society
the worst part
because
is,
people are that.
And it's not even your
ignorant.
behavior, it's just what you're doing
Yeah.
for leisure.
Yeah.
It'd be one thing if your behavior was you were walking in with, I don't know, some kind of attitude or something. That's behavior. You're just present.
I'm just being.
You're
I'm
just being,
relaxing,
yeah.
And
And all I can say is, folks, I've known this guy a long time, and he is the exact opposite of any kind of threatening presence at all. He's got a big smile, warm presence, and it's like,
I mean, that's the
Coolest
thing.
dude.
I want to be people's friends.
Yeah,
I want
of course.
to be, I want to be nice to you. I want to help you.
Right.
And part of what I was taught is that I need to be helpful to other people.
Right.
We're as Sikhs, we're supposed to stand up for justice.
Yeah,
and
right,
truth
right.
And stand up for
Right.
people who are, if I see somebody needing help on the street, I'm supposed to go. I'm not supposed to ignore them.
right.
So, I mean, it's like for people to kind of bring that
Yeah.
level of anger at me and things.
Yeah.
It just, it was a bit of a wake-up call. Like, okay,
Yeah,
when I got back to Atlanta, I got quite serious with my training. I
Wow.
did a lot of Muay Thai then and a lot of Jiu-Jitsu. Still kept up with the Kali as well, with the same group. So I was training. Steve Broman was
Now this was after law school.
This was after
you
law
finished
school. So this
okay.
is around 06, 07.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically started in 98, went to 02, went to law school 03 to 05, and then had a long trip at the end of 05, traveled around Asia for 3 months.
Hey, one should do that. I always say that, look, once you're done with school, that's traumatizing enough doing all that shit.
Yeah.
If you can, figure out a way to just sabbatical for a little while, take a little vacation.
Here's what I did. So when you go to law school, you can take out a loan to study for your bar exam.
Uh-huh.
And they'll give you $12,000 to study for your bar exam.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Instead of they expect you to spend that money on these bar prep courses.
Sure.
Barbary and PMBR. Barbary charges you $8,000, and PMBR is another $4,000.
Wow.
And so, you then have to pay your rent and whatever.
Of course.
So,
Yeah.
you're basically just taking out I bought the books on eBay. And all I did was I just studied on my own.
Right.
Instead of going to these bar prep classes.
Yeah.
I took the bar exam, took the leftover money, I had about $7-8 left, and just went to Asia.
Oh, that's smart.
And I was just like, okay, I went with a friend from law school. We traveled all around India. I had been to Punjab before, where my family's from.
Uh-huh.
We did Punjab, Rishikesh, hiked in the Himalayas 20 kilometers in.
Beautiful.
Saw just these amazing things there. Went down through Goa and Karnataka, went down to Kerala, and then from Kerala went and visited a cousin I had in Andhra Pradesh. On the east side, went up to Calcutta, flew to Thailand, spent time in Thailand.
Damn.
Went to Koh Samui, Koh Lanta, and then went from there to Malaysia.
Wow.
And then got to Tioman Island, which is a small island off the coast of Malaysia that's just phenomenal. Gorgeous place, very undeveloped.
Wow.
There's a phone in where the port is in Tioman.
Uh-huh.
We had hiked about an hour up to ABC Beach, and we're just like staying in these huts. And I made the mistake of telling my dad, oh, I'll call you soon. I'll call you tomorrow or day after. I didn't know there were no phones up there.
Oh.
We go up there, 2 weeks pass by. We're just hanging out, just having the time of our lives.
And your parents are
my parents
panicked.
haven't heard from me.
Like, oh my
They
God.
panic and call the State Department. They're like, we haven't seen this kid in 2 weeks. We don't know what happened to him. They're contacting my friend's parents in Malaysia. It was a whole thing.
What's funny is I can see this
So
whole
absurd.
unit dropping in, and you're just sitting there with some suntan oil on, feet kicked up. Like, what?
Yes, exactly. That's what it was like.
That's
so anyway,
brilliant.
got back to Atlanta, got a job, started working as a lawyer. I was doing like business civil rights law at the time, business and like commercial law at the time, contract law, and training with Thai boxing with Stephen Broman and jiu-jitsu with him as well, and then training Kali still mostly with my friend CJ. Both of them were in the association at the time. I don't think they kept up their certifications with Guru, but they have a lot of love for him. It's like, every time I talk with them, it's like nothing but love for Guru. And so, and then I moved up to New York, and again, I was just broke. I had wanted to practice human rights law the whole time I was in school. Backing up a little bit, so when I around 1993, the Sikh community in 1984 faced a genocide in India. The Indian army went in and on a holy day attacked one of the most important Sikh
I
places of
think I
worship.
remember that. 84, I was a freshman in high school.
Yeah.
And I've always been kind of a big thing on world events and history and stuff. So I think I do remember that happening.
This was on the front page of the New York Times.
Oh, yeah.
They actually, for 4 or 5 days, they covered this on the front page. And so after that, they said it was to eradicate these freedom fighters that they had actually been having conversations with. Like, the prime minister had been meeting with them directly.
I'm thinking anybody who's a good guy shouldn't be using the word eradicate.
Yeah.
Be honest with you, if they think they're a good guy.
Oh,
It just kind of shows me if you're using the word eradicate, you're probably not the good guy.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, it's interesting. You know, how do you go from having direct conversations in meetings to then declaring
extreme violence?
This person is this, and then these guys, they're hanging out. He's like was a spiritual person, so there are a lot of people following. They're hanging out at the temple with the group, and they pick a day where the temple is full of people who have nothing to do
with it,
with the politics of it all, and they start to attack and stuff. And we don't actually have good numbers because they shut down all press and didn't allow any press or anything at the time.
Right.
Accounts are somewhere between 10 to 30,000 people were killed in that time in June.
Damn.
In October, 2 of Indira Gandhi's bodyguards who were sick killed her.
Right, I remember that.
That also then was a huge thing, but instead of prosecuting those guys or saying like essentially trying to handle this as a kind of lawful thing, the ruling party at the time handed out gasoline, tires, lattes, which are the long staffs.
Oh my God! So they
metal
did a
bars,
Rwanda kind of shit.
And matches.
Yeah.
And so they were just catching random fish on the street, throwing tires on them.
And this concludes the abbreviated version of the podcast. Please consider supporting the program by going to www.patreon.com/malmag and subscribing to the show. You can also purchase this individual episode or any individual episode at our Gumroad page. That's malmag.gumroad.com. Thank you for listening to this episode with Jaspreet Singh. Coming up next week, I talk to yet another fascinating individual at the Inosanto Instructor Camp, Mr. Richard Syrum. Our Malmag online store at martialartslifestylemagazine.com has a full selection of Timmy B's brand sticks for FMA and Krabiker Bong. Timmy B's brand now selling in Japan as well. Beautiful Timmy B's brand shirts and Dos Manos shirts are available. We also have sarongs, malongs, and wooden training knives. An online course in the Dos Manos method for FMA is available under the Courses tab. More courses coming soon. Check out the Places to Train tab to find schools near you, and click on the events calendar page to see what seminars and events are happening all around the world. And of course, visit our main page for articles on the martial arts. Music by Arthur J. Martial Arts Lifestyle Magazine and the Martial Arts Lifestyle Podcast are trademarked and copyrighted by TNT LLC.